Welcome back, everybody. We are thrilled you're with us on this Wednesday morning Frank and Jill show. I'm Jill Farmer, along with Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy. Scott Morris, in his 30 years in the corporate world, did a lot of incredible things, including mergers and acquisitions and taking companies from millions of dollars of companies into billion-dollar companies. And now he's supporting local entrepreneurs in a pretty big way. The UMSL Anchor Accelerator has awarded $1.1 million in grants to 22 winners over the past 4 years. Big plans for more entrepreneurs in St. Louis to get this support. And Scott, it's pretty interesting. You had a wildly successful career in business, retired young, and then went back to get a doctorate to be a teacher to try to help other people be able to do this as well. Tell us a bit about your story.
Yeah, 100%. I thoroughly enjoyed my corporate life and career. It was great, but it was also exhausting. And I tell people that I felt like at the end I was a hired gun, where I was making really wealthy people just a little bit more wealthy, and it felt a little empty. And I was inspired by a book that I read called Halftime, where the author talks about thinking of your career in two parts. Your first part is focused on success, and your second part is focused on significance. And that really resonated with me. So I never see myself retiring. I want to continue to work and give back. I don't really golf much, don't fix things around the house. My wife doesn't actually like me around the house that much. So this is great. This is a way for me to give back. It's a way to be around young people, listen to their ideas, and hopefully help them on their journey. And I had no idea that a job like this even existed. I was defending my dissertation at UMSL on a Tuesday. They offered me this job on a Friday, and I had no idea. I expected to be in the classroom. Never did I imagine that you could actually use all this past skills and training to work with small businesses and then find ways to get our students engaged in the program as well. So we're educating small businesses, helping them scale, hopefully contributing to the St. Louis economy, adding more jobs for UMSL students and other folks in the St. Louis area, and letting our students learn as we teach them these scaling skills.
So how does this work from a student perspective in terms of classrooms and internships?
Yeah, so the students can participate in this accelerator program in one of two ways. They can take the class as a capstone for credit, or they can take it as a paid internship. But either way, we're hopefully helping the CEOs while we also educate the students. One of the things that we see with a lot of our founders is that they are so in the weeds on their business that they do everything. They don't even think to delegate it. And so if you're going to tell a student how to write a business plan to hopefully get you investors, you've got to be really clear on what you do, why you do it, and give very good instructions. So we're hopefully getting them out of that kind of wormhole that they're in. If they're flying at 20 feet off the ground, we want to get them up to 20,000 feet and be more the visionary and that true leader, and have the students really participate in the drafting of the business plans as they go along.
In the world of business, when people hear about accelerators, a lot of times what we think of is what's become one of the most popular versions of that, which is a television show, which is called Shark Tank, right? Which is how businesses who have good ideas get money behind them to take their idea from where it is now to make it go big time. I know I've way oversimplified the process, but that's my rudimentary understanding of how all this works. You guys have helped at least 22 winners through the years.
35 after this
now.
last semester, yeah.
But that meant that there were as many as 1,000 other people that had ideas that didn't get chosen.
Yeah.
You have a vision that those people who didn't get chosen can still get some of that help and support as well as we're moving into the future.
For sure. So we've opened up the program. It used to be that we would only take people that won the pitch competition. We've made a couple changes. One is we no longer do the pitch competition. Instead, what we do is we want to continue to build these companies. What we've seen is that the other programs that look like us in town, once you're done with the program, you're done. Mm-hmm. And we think that's maybe not finishing the job. And so we want to take those businesses that graduate from these other programs and then build that next block, take them up the ladder to the next rung, and then get them to people like MTC, Missouri Technology Corporation, for a round of funding for that massive growth. So we're trying to partner, and we're taking businesses now only on referral from these other programs in town. But you can always take the class and just pay tuition. We offer the courses at our cost. So you can come take the class and get the same educational experience as the companies that actually win a spot in the accelerator and get the education for a little bit of money.
Scott Morris is with us from UMSL. Has there been one idea, though, that's, wow, you thought because of your great background, hey, this really has a chance to click?
So I've seen the process now twice. Today is actually my 2-year anniversary at UMSL, so I've seen 2 of these accelerator cohorts. Each of the cohorts, there's a handful of businesses. I'll say maybe a third of them that come through. I'm like, wow, these guys are really on the verge of something and, just need a little bit of a push. And that's what we hope to help give them is we want to be their go-to source for networking. If they need a CPA, if they need lawyers, if they want to raise that round of funding, we want to be their first choice. Come back to us and let us help you get to that next level. And we just want to introduce them to the next people. So that we're kind of knitting together the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem in St. Louis, so that we're all supporting these businesses and hopefully do a better job of ensuring their success.
As you're helping to support these entrepreneurs and their businesses, are a lot of them in tech? Is it retail? Is it merchandise? What is the gamut of the kinds of businesses that you guys are trying to make into the next round of wildly successful entrepreneurs?
So we like to say that we're industry agnostic, and we don't have a concentration of businesses in any one particular field.
Mm-hmm.
We do get a pretty good mix of tech. There's a lot of food companies. They might be B2B or B2C.
Business to business, so things that average folks wouldn't necessarily know, but we're selling to businesses. That's
right. Yeah, you might be B2B might sell to Schnucks. We make something and we sell it to Schnucks or to Dierbergs. Mm-hmm. And B2C would be they sell direct to the consumer. Mm-hmm. So we see a little bit of everything. We stay away from areas that we're not qualified to really help in. So that might be like biotech or medical research, things like that. But other than that, we're pretty open to whoever comes through the door.
So the common criticism of universities around the country today, A, it's expensive. B, you sometimes get a degree that's just not going to help you.
Right.
Now, you are the exact opposite. UMSL is not expensive, and these are like practical, real-life experiences. I'm wondering what type of hit it's been with the kids in terms of enrollment. I know you've only been at it for 2 years, but you're seeing some growth.
Yeah, we had more students involved in this last cohort than we had collectively in the first 4.
Wow.
So we're really increasing the number of participation. The number of students that are majoring in entrepreneurship at UMSL has more than doubled in the last 2 years. And exactly to your point, Frank, there was an article in the St. Louis Business Journal last spring that said something like 66 or 67% of the local employers won't hire a new undergrad because they lack relevant skills. Well, we're trying to give them that through classes like this deep experiential learning. About half of our students that participated in the cohort last spring got full-time or part-time job offers from the companies they were supporting. So this is not only giving them the education, but it may be giving them that first job, that first foot.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of UMSL because you're in a big city where there are a lot of corporations where people can get those internships while they're going to college.
And further, so many of our students are from St. Louis and stay in St. Louis. So it's a real advantage. We're really helping the local economy in addition to helping the local students.
I want to go back to something you started our conversation with today. You, by the way, I think I failed to mention that you have been recognized in the St. Louis Business 500 as one of our region's top business leaders. You mentioned the first half of your career was about success and helping businesses become more successful, which allowed you to be successful enough to retire relatively young compared to the rest of the world. And then this second part of your career has been more about building meaning and doing stuff that sort of matters in the world. Are you finding it to deliver what it was you were seeking when you made that big switch?
I tell you, the change from the corporate world to academia has been much more difficult than I ever could have possibly imagined. But all of those things I hope to get out of the experience are true. So this is my 4th semester now at UMSL. And I have students that are coming back, into the ecosystem. They want to come take more courses, or they want to work for us part-time or be involved in something else. And so that's been just unbelievably rewarding.
One quick thought about your private equity career, which lasted, I guess, 30 years. Did you ever have one where you were like really worried for a while? You bought it at a good number. Oh, my goodness, this is not really going up. And you were like concerned as heck, and then eventually it exploded. Give me a story.
Yeah, so I would say, I did somewhere, I was asked to count for one of my employers as to how many deals I had done. At the time, it was around 60, and I think I've done another 20 or so since then. So somewhere, 80-ish deals. I don't ever remember one just absolutely blowing up, but we had one where we thought we were going to operate from 2 centers. We had a platform business and thought we would just open or operate from this remote site from the second acquisition. And we showed up one day and there were no employees. Everybody had decided, that's it. We're not going to work for the new guys. We're just not coming in.
And you had already bought it.
We had already bought it, yeah. So we had to quickly move operations. Thank goodness we had a good team and in our platform location. And so we were able to bring in the folks from that other location and learn the business very quickly. And we just migrated everything. And it actually ended up being windfall profit because we got rid of all that overhead expense. Didn't have to pay severance to employees that didn't want to be there, and so it actually worked out great. But it was a hair-raising couple months.
So what a great story to be able to tell your students now about how to have to pivot when you think the bottom has fallen out, but when you can make a quick switch like that. Really, really good stuff. Scott Morris, it was fun to hear the stories. If somebody's listening to this, they've got a spark, they've had the desire, but they don't think they have everything they need in order to launch their own successful business. How can they get in touch with what you guys are doing and maybe learn from what's happening at UMSL?
Definitely. Follow us on LinkedIn or go to our website. You can find either just by searching for UMSL Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center. All of the information about our classes, all of our programs are up to date on the website and on our LinkedIn page.
Very good stuff. Thanks so much for joining us today. Lots more coming up on the Frank and Jill Show after this.